Hello everyone, Ryan, the Psychic Medium Mentor. Thank you so much for joining me. I have a new video here with a very good question that got asked by one of the members. Now, I'm making this video for Patreon, but I am also going to start uploading some of the Patreon videos to my YouTube. So, for my YouTube followers, if you are seeing this video, I started a Patreon, and it is, of course, the Psychic Medium Mentor. People that are members are getting special access to certain information that I don't share here on YouTube. And if you would like to join, all members get to see all the videos. If you are a paying member, you get some extra benefits. And one of the benefits is you are allowed to ask questions that may be used for future videos. Again, that is on Patreon under the Psychic Medium Mentor. You can find me, and I'm trying to create more of a community. And for those that pay for the membership, not only do you get some freebies, you get to ask questions, and it's also a way to, I guess, thank me for taking the time to make these videos. A lot more goes into these videos, and it's a lot more time than the 10 or 15-minute video you see. So I really appreciate it. Oh, this question's very good question. It said, is it common for there to be periods of time when you're connected, it's clear, spirit is speaking, and then times when nothing, I think he means nothing's coming in, or it's not as clear as it was? So that's a very, very good question. And absolutely it is. The short answer is there are times where receiving psychically will be either very quiet, like nothing at all, or very dialed down. So why does this happen? Well, the reasons vary wildly, and every time it happens will also be incredibly varied. So I want to say, I'm going to go through the most common reasons, but really whenever you have it happening, what you want to do is find a way to tune in, have another psychic tune in, use tarot or use a pendulum to find out what the reason is, because I can tell you the reason will be different almost every time, but you will start to notice patterns. So some of the reasons that this can happen is sometimes you're having an upgrade or a download from your spirit team, and they need your gifts to go quiet. That way they can perform some healings on you, some healing treatments, spiritual medicine, all kinds of things. And that can be for minutes, it can be for an afternoon, days. And in my personal case, the longest I had it happen once was 3 months. Now, that's not very common, I want to say, so don't worry like, oh my God, 3 months and I'm done. It depends on so many factors that are going on with you energetically and personally. One of the other reasons this can happen is it can be that you are pushing past what your energy can handle on any given day. So the example I'll give is that my psychic abilities work best between 10:30 a.m. and 6 o'clock. Okay, that's for clients. Without clients, I can usually use my psychic abilities until about 7:38. I notice after that they get very quiet, or else my guides just go, boop, we're just going to turn you off. I tend to overdo things, and my guides, I think, felt it was best to put a limit on me. Here's the window of opportunity for your gifts, and when it's late at night, it's time to relax, wind down, and prepare to go to sleep. Many times when clients are working with me, I have them not practice using their psychic abilities or tuning in late at night, simply because generally we're all tired. We're all kicked in the ass. We've been doing things all day. And by the time you get to that place, if you're trying to practice using your psychic abilities early on, it won't be very good. And then what happens is that you take it very personally as you're not receiving well, when the truth is you're just tired. So let me add to that. If you are new to using your psychic abilities and you are practicing and you're trying to hone them and grow them, don't wait till the end of the night to do it. I know sometimes because of jobs, it's not ideal to try to do it in the middle of the day. But if you can't do it in the morning when you get up and get around, then do it later in the day before dinner. You will notice that your psychic abilities work a lot better. But if you are waiting till you crawl in bed, which if I had $1 for every time someone tells me they're in bed, they're getting ready to go to sleep, and that's when they're trying to fit in talking to their guides, it's just like anything, whether psychic abilities or something else, you're tired. You're not going to do well. So give it more attention. Just like going to the gym, and I know I use that analogy all the time, but it's a good one. You wouldn't go lift weights at 10 o'clock in your pajamas, kind of haphazard before you're trying to go to bed. I mean, you won't grow muscles. So don't do the same thing with your psychic abilities. And if you notice, when your gifts tend to go quiet, pay attention to the time that they're going quiet, because that is giving you possibly a hint as to why. Another reason that your gifts can go quiet is because you are overusing them. If you are always tuning in and even giving psychic readings for others and not really giving yourself a break, and you're going at it day after day, your gifts can get quiet. That can be your guides doing that, sort of like, hey, we need you to put the brakes on and heal a little bit. And it can also be because your psychic channels are getting gummed up with a lot of energy and a lot of other people's energy. If you are not, and this is sort of for another video, if you're reading for other people and you are not centering and grounding and connecting and disconnecting appropriately, you can have those people, even if they're friends that you're practicing on, that you've read for, that you're kind of carrying their energy in your energy. And that can cause almost this blanket that goes over your gifts. So that's why I tell people, don't over practice on other people, and also make sure you are disconnecting from a client or a friend appropriately. That way that they're not gumming up your energy. Now, I have this happen actually seasonally. And I'm in that stage right now where my business is October to about April, where I take on clients. And because I have a lot of clients during that time, what happens is about in April, about when I'm with my last few clients, my gifts start struggling. I'm basically tired. Even if I don't feel tired, giving psychic readings and tuning in to other people's energy requires a lot more energy than you think. And, that's why we charge people. It's not necessarily that doing it is very difficult for that hour. It's what it takes out of us in the whole day, the whole week, and the whole month. So anyway, by the time I get to April, things start getting very quiet. Right now, my gifts are just okay. I'm not even really trying to use them. I'm just being regular old Ryan, just a human, not tuning in, because I'm so used to that is what happens, that come April, I need a break. So I just go ahead and give myself the break until about May. And another reason that your gifts can go quiet is what you are consuming. So, for example, I love coffee, and I usually have 2 healthy cups in the morning. I used to take on more than 1 client a day, but I didn't really like that. It was very taxing on my energy. When I did take 2 clients on, usually I would have a cup of coffee in between those clients, and I would usually give myself an hour to 2 break. What I noticed is that it was much harder for me with the second client to get information. I mean, I still could do it, and I hope they didn't notice, but I could tell for me it was more like wading through the energy, trying to grab at it, instead of with the first client, it just would come in very effortlessly. I associated that it was because I had 2 clients, and that probably played a small part. But what my guides finally told me, you can't be having that third cup of coffee. Coffee with the caffeine really does a number on your energy. And I'm not telling you to quit drinking coffee, but any stimulant like that sort of scrambles your channels, okay? So what I suggest you do is you ask your guides, how many cups of coffee can I have? And I don't mean, some of us say we have 1 cup and it's like 3 in one. So a true 6-ounce cup of coffee, how many of those can you have? Now, I still have 2, I don't have 3, but my spirit guides wish I would just have 1. And speaking of things you consume, alcohol, marijuana, hopefully that's as hard as any of it's getting, those things will affect your psychic abilities. Okay, even medicine, and I'm not saying don't go take your medicine, your prescribed medicine. I'm not a doctor, but I'm just saying anything that affects your system can affect your psychic abilities. Now, for some people, it won't at all. I mean, we're all so very unique in that sense. But did you drink the night before? Are you using a lot of gummies to sleep? I mean, these sort of things, there's a host of problems that can cause. But for the point of this video, the next day it can make your psychic abilities dim, or it can really just shut them down. The other thing that those do, like alcohol and marijuana especially, and some people are really going to hate what I'm going to say here, that can let things into your energy that block your channels. So like things not of the light. And if you're using it too often and you're not especially doing regular clearings, which you should be doing anyway, you can get things in your energy that make everything go quiet. And to add to that, if you are watching horror movies or you're watching a lot of news, or hanging out with assholes for friends, basically if you're doing things that lower your vibration, that will also affect your psychic abilities, and that can be something just generally it's affecting them, or it can be something that ebbs and flows that depends on what you're doing. So think about that. Are you doing things that do lower your vibration? Because that is definitely going to affect your psychic abilities. Just know that it is usually a very temporary thing. And if your gifts have gone completely quiet, that will be hard to figure out what's going on. But that's when I bust out my good old tarot cards and I ask questions or use a pendulum. And a lot of times it can just be like, hey, you just need a break and your gifts will be up and running in 5 days. So this is a very good question for your guides when it's happening, because they will say coffee, food, you watch the news, you drank too much, you have dark entities in your channels. It can go on and on and on what it is, but communicate with your guides so you know what's happening, and you don't take it personally like you're just not good at receiving psychic information, so you can remedy why it is, or that you can just step back and give your gifts a break. I hope this helps. Much love to you, babes.